Another thing that this does a little bit weirdly is that it does not really follow the standard structure of a heist movie, right? Like in a heist movie, you assemble the team and you make a plan, and then the plan goes wrong, and then you have to improvise, and then it all works out in the end. And here, because the movie wants to be cleverer than you, that pulls off the illusion first and then cuts back to showing how it was done, right? And I don't know that that necessarily makes it better. One of the things that makes this ring not very true is that a lot of it is very ad hoc and improvised, right? And we don't see them plan. In a lot of heist movies, a solid half of the movie is them just planning stuff and scoping out the environment and getting all the resources and setting the trap. And then they learn something that means the original plan doesn't work and now they have to amend it. And that creates problems in some other part of the plan and whatever. That is the classical format of the heist story. And I wonder if these movies would be more compelling if they just stuck closer to that formula, as opposed to constantly trying to impress the audience with how smart they are and about how they pulled one over on us. Except, of course, they did, because it's a movie and it's not that hard to just not show us what we need to know to understand the trick before the reveal. If we saw them practice the scam. And so we know what's supposed to happen. And then we see it go wrong. And then we see them be resourceful enough to pull it off anyway. Wouldn't that be more fun? The Ocean's 11's movies are like this. The
Italian Job.
like even Italian Job is another example of this, where they go through excruciating detail. There's a movie called Ronin, which is a bunch of mercenaries are trying to steal something from the Irish mob, I think.
Even Fast and Furious go through this.
I think I saw one of those once. I gotta sit down and watch them at some point. But yeah, those are heist movies too, right? Or at least some of them.
Yeah.
There's this entire genre, and making the plan is like the big part of it, right? Because magicians don't improvise, right? They practice over and over, and they want to be in complete control of the environment so that they can control what the audience sees and what they don't. And that is how they pull off the tricks. And here it's all very ad hoc, very by the seat of their pants. They're constantly improvising. Now that I think about it, and now that I'm saying it out loud, I think this is why I don't like these movies, because it does not feel smart. Like, I always thought they didn't feel smart enough, where it would be so much better if this was a little bit more thought through and a little bit more detail oriented and a little less by the seat of their pants. But I think this is why they don't work for me nearly as much as they should. We're not seeing them put in the work. We're only seeing the end result. And that's not that impressive. And all they have to do is copy some, 30-year-old heist movies. Like, this doesn't even have to be just for Magic fans. There's a middle path here.
There's a formula for a reason with some of these movies. There's a formula because it's tried, it's tested, it works. It goes through the right story beats to get the right emotional engagement out of the audience to kind of bring them on board with the journey that the characters are going on. And yeah, I think you're right. It just kind of skips past that. So then when they actually do the whole big reveal of like, okay, ta-da, this was a magic trick, it doesn't feel as satisfying.